Hi, I'm Sophie, and I haven't seen a lot of movies.
Hi, I'm Paul, and I'm here to help with that. And we are
SP Film Viewers.
Oh, Pierre, you shouldn't have come. You're flirting with danger. They will surely find you out. You're much too valuable. Happy 2021, everybody.
Yeah, I hope you all have had a good 2021 so far. It's been better than 2020. And if you haven't gathered, well, to be fair, I would have not known what you have just done there if I haven't have seen this film. So,
But you can gather from the title of the episode what we're covering.
yeah. But if you haven't watched it, then you might not know what Paul's trying to depict. But
it's a scene from Singin' in the Rain.
It is. So that's the film, the first film we are reviewing in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And secretly, we did do a vote, didn't we?
Yeah.
Of what film I hadn't seen, and actually a film that you hadn't seen, trying to make it a little bit fair here. Thanks for everyone for not voting for mine. Really, really hurt, because mine was The Notebook. We'll have to, at some point, do it. But
I think we will. But
I secretly wanted Singin' in the Rain anyways. I really did. I think it's a good opener for it.
When we were looking at the stuff to pick out, and you said that, I was kind of like, yes, because I did want to. It was on the list to cover at some point, but I had that inkling for like that's a good opener for the year basically, and a nice easy one to go in with, and I really enjoy the film.
And I think it's one of those where if we'd have done The Notebook, it might have been a bit hard pressed.
Yeah, there might have been. I'm not sure how that might have gone for the first episode.
Yeah, I think it's one of those quite heavy ones, and especially since we've had a heavy 2020, it's nice to come in with a light-hearted classic. And we've been really enjoying, haven't we, the older kind of films lately. Obviously, we watched It's a Wonderful Life around Christmas. We've actually just today watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which I don't think...
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, because the Charlie and Chocolate Factory was the remake by with Johnny Depp in it, so...
So you educated me. I think I actually know that one better than the one that we watched today. But I've seen bits of this, if that makes sense. I feel like I've merged the two in my head a little bit, probably.
Perhaps.
I've not actually seen them all the way through, though, to be fair, either one.
Right.
So I've kind of just taken bits from here and there. So I really, really enjoyed that today.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those old kind of classics that we're...
sort of used to, because again, it's like a pop culture thing, really.
Yeah, seems to be a lot of things where I find pop culture. And
So I think that was the case with this one as well, didn't you? I think you know some of the songs.
Yeah, like the Good Morning song. I didn't even know that was actually
part of
Singin' in the Rain. But I know the song, and I've sang it to you when we woke up, and I do sing it. But weirdly, I didn't know the tap dancing behind it, the scene, or anything like that. There was another song as well, which let me see. Obviously, I knew Singin' in the Rain, but hadn't seen that part. Sadly enough, do you know how I knew the Singin' in the Rain? Got educated from that. I'm going to really laugh.
Go on.
You remember Britain's Got Talent?
Yes.
I want to say his name was George something. And he was a dancer on Britain's Got Talent, and he did a Singin' in the Rain version, but it was a bit more contemporary, and it was more upbeat.
I think I know what you mean, yeah. Did he release a single or something? It was like a jazz, almost like a dance version. Or something.
But like jazzier.
Like sampled it, something. I think I vaguely remember that,
But he danced to the music and he was singing in the rain, basically, to it. And that's when I knew, obviously, of the classic version of Singin' in the Rain, but more fell in love with dance and everything. I was a bit more in tuned.
Right.
There was another one. Bear with me. So, I think it's Make Them Laugh.
Make them laugh, yeah.
I don't know why I know it. It's weird how I know these things and I haven't kind of seen it, but it's still somehow, and I don't really know how, it's in my brain. It's a bit strange, that is, isn't it? Unless, like, I was, like, born in the 20s and I've died, come back. You never know, I might have been Kathy for all you know. I don't really know. But I don't really know how I know these things. Like, that's the strange bit, like the Indiana Jones theme. Never seen it, but I know the theme song. Anyways, really, really veering off to the subject. So let's go back to Singing in the Rain. So we've got your lead.
Our main man, Gene Kelly.
Which is called... it Don?
Don Lockwood is his character in this.
And then you've got squeaky voice.
Yeah, which is kind of... I think it's quite clever how that comes into play at the start, because they obviously like doing the whole premiere red carpet treatment going on, and it's kind of like to keep the public in that kind of thing of Hollywood, how Hollywood is perceived with, like, oh, the two stars of the show are together kind of thing. There's that whole
romance behind it,
that falseness about it. And this leading lady that he's with on all these silent pictures is Lena Lamont,
which is quite funny. The first scene you get of kind of where them both meet, and is he like a stuntman or something like that, or a body double or something?
Yeah, because he goes into that and he explains quite a lot of the stuff when one of these, I guess, like, reporters or whoever she is kind of asks, like tell us a bit about, you know, like, your history, like, from the very beginning. And so Gene Kelly's character tells this whole, like, backstory of like how he struggled and stuff and everything. It's like, oh, we played at the best clubs and stuff, but with the visuals that we get on screen, you can see that it's not really that at all. It's all just a ruse, a bit of a smoke and mirrors effect of how embellishment of how things went for him, just to make it seem like to the public eye, that everything was, oh wow, he had such a great life and how did he do it kind of thing. And it's like how
a pretense
of how what people think life in Hollywood is like, that kind of thing.
The meet with, obviously she wasn't actually interested in him, was she, initially, because she was a star, and he was just an extra,
and then until like 2 seconds almost after the fact of, like, oh, you got star talent, and suddenly now she's, like, really interested in, again, how fickle that starlets can be.
Literally just in 2 seconds change her mind. That was quite funny. I liked how they kind of panned that out, and you kind of could suss her character
immediately.
Just from that one scene.
So then, it's soon revealed that she's not exactly got a fantastic voice. It's very high, shrill and high pitched.
I was quite surprised when hearing it. I was like, is that actually her voice, or is it put on?
I reckon it's probably put on.
But then I was thinking, well, people that have squeaky voices, like there's the lady from Will and Grace, Karen.
I think that I've seen her in other stuff and she hasn't put that on as high as
But there's like Janice from Friends. Like, does she actually speak like that either? You know, there's all these people that then kind of she reminded me of, which obviously she's done it first, but
yeah.
For me, but her voice is horrific, and no wonder she just does still kind of films, and she doesn't do
silent films,
talking pictures. Yeah.
So this is really what the main drive of the story is really moving from these actors, moving from the silent pictures to the talkies, is what they called them back in the 20s.
Like walkie-talkies.
And I think this is why I like this movie so much. It's because it's like a movie about a movie, sort of like explaining like some intricacies about how, you know, film has developed. In terms of, like, you know, from those early stages and going through, like, the emotions of how things progressed within the industry and all that stuff. And then also, like, we've just sort of explained about how there's almost like a wink to the camera about, like, the Hollywood thing of, like, you know, everything's not as you perceive it to be. It's all an act kind of thing. And there's this sense of illusion and reality merging into one. Yeah.
I was quite surprised when I was like, oh, I want to pick Singing in the Rain, and you were like, oh, yeah, no, I really want to watch that. And I'm like, well, from what I gather, there's a man dancing in the rain with an umbrella. And that's all I knew about this film. And I'm thinking, this is a dance film. It's a musical.
Mm-hmm.
Paul's not going to really want to watch this because I didn't know the film element to it. Obviously, that wasn't something I was aware of. So when I was like really looking forward to it, I was thinking, well, Strictly's just finished. Really would like to put a nice classic dance musical film on. And then I understood quite quickly why you would like this, because of the way that it's kind of showing you history of film within the movie. It's showing you the development of the talking picture. It shows you the implications, like Paul showed at the beginning of his podcast, like the microphone being
in the wrong place, so it's you got to talk into the mic,
which is quite funny because nowadays there is a little bit more grace with that.
Technology has vastly improved.
There's one line, and I know it's further on, but it made me chuckle. So this character, with the squeaky voice, what's her name again?
Lena.
As much as you hate her, she has got some comical lines. Like, she does make you laugh.
Yeah.
So there's one line which proper made me chuckle. Like, if I was having a drink, I'd have spat my water out kind of line. Which is, I can't make love to a bush. But she says it's so annoyed because the amount of time she's had to retake this one scene.
Yeah, that's a great scene because of this director guy who's going to the sound booth and he's like tearing his hair out almost, like he's going to the end of his tether with the whole thing. I can imagine because, it'd been a trying time for, especially even back then in the actual reality of things, it would have been.
Especially as well, you need to be thinking all of this is actually on film. It's not a movie. Yeah. It's on film.
Yeah.
It's hard to edit.
Yeah, not like today's thing where you can just do this and just pause, rewind that, wipe that, cut that out.
The amount of money it's wasting every time she's messing it up because it's on film that needs to be developed or put in the bin.
Yeah.
So there's all this technical side of things.
Yeah.
So which I thought was hilarious because it's like it is hard to get a film reel where they might be able to cut it and try and make it.
It was like he was saying, explain to her, it's like it's been put onto wax, i.e. like a vinyl thing, so that's even more costly affair of producing a disc audio to put on to merge with the film. So it's kind of like thing, but there's the whole comical aspect of it all is throughout, runs very strong, and that's another reason why I like it, because you can just laugh along.
Yes.
That's the drama parts as well.
I feel like I was beaming from ear to ear every time I was watching any part of it. It wasn't really a dark moment, even though they thought they were going to lose it because the film was that rubbish that they thought they were going to be like kicked out, but even watching the film was hysterical. So it was like, even though you knew it was rubbish, it was funny to watch, and you didn't feel like it was too dark or anything like that when it was coming to the fact of them losing the jobs, because they straight away got inspired onto the next thing.
Yeah.
I do think it was quite funny, like you said, about it being on vinyl, when they had a bit of a misbalance from the film playing.
They out of sync,
So then the man's voice was becoming the woman's.
Oh, it was delayed, it's really funny.
It is really comical the way that they do things, and it's just simple things that obviously I feel like it's been what has happened while they've been trying out this new technology, and they've thought, actually, we can make something golden out of this because now we know how to do it properly. We can play on as mistakes, so to speak, and make it comical, which not many people can do that when they've done something mistakes, because I can imagine that's what it is.
As for comical aspects, Gene Kelly's co-star in this, Donald O'Connor, who plays Cosmo Brown, he's quite a likeable, humorous character, isn't he?
He's lovely. He's got such a lovely face to him. He seems like his character is really down to earth. He dances better than Don Lockwood. He really does. He's just so slick and smooth, and his movements are amazing.
Well, I'm no dance expert, but I kind of see where you're coming from when you're kind of pointing it out and looking at these legs when he was doing the dancing. They're a bit more flexible, kind of like...
Yeah, so much more fluidity in it, and he was really enjoying it, whereas I feel like Don was a little bit like, oh, this is what I have to be doing with my arms, and a bit more stiff.
He's quite a bit more toned in the muscle, wasn't he, in his arms?
Do you know, funnily enough, like, if I had to pick between the two, I'd definitely be more for Cosmo. He's not as chiseled and, like, that face. And I don't know, I think Don just looks a bit arrogant sometimes, like he's, oh, you must love me.
Yeah, he's got a strong jaw and like a rugged type of look to him.
Whereas Cosmo, I don't know, he's got this little cheeky face and he doesn't think he's all special, and he really is.
Yeah, he plays the sort of side character very well. He doesn't really ask for, he's not like any begrudging against anything really.
No.
Asking for anything, he's just kind of just happy to be with his pal.
Yeah, and he really wants his pal to do well, and he's there for him. And if anything, he's the brains behind everything.
For most of it, yeah.
But he's happy for his friend to be in the limelight and him be in the shadows.
Yeah.
And no resentment that you see from this character.
There's none of that going on throughout the film. No.
If anything, you get the resentment from Lena. She's like your little kind of bad...
uppity, like, oh, everything's got to revolve around me and I'm the star. And
she's a bit of a spoiled brat, isn't she? And then you've got Kathy, which we kind of get introduced to, which is because obviously Don ends up in the middle of the street because Cosmo's car gets a flat tyre and all these women are like swooning over him. It's like, I don't know if this is a thing or if it's just me that doesn't do it. Like, obviously if Ed Sheeran was in the middle of the street... I don't even think I'd want to approach him. I know that sounds really daft. Like, I won't be going out of my way ripping his clothes off, that's for sure, you know, like these women were. I'd probably not even be able to muster a hello.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You'd be a bit starstruck, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it'd be like, I'd be rather just seeing him okay from afar. I'd be like, oh my goodness, he's there, that's nice. Go home and tell some people.
I tell you now, if Emma Stone was like walking down the street, out. I'd be like, I wouldn't. Yeah, string sense. I mean, I can't do that half the time anyway. But I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to get my words together and be like.
So, going back onto Don getting into Kathy's car by doing some of his stunt doubling act by jumping on a bus and then.
Yeah, landing the car and everything. Yeah, so that sort of weird meet cute, I guess.
Yeah, and I really like it because she doesn't really know who he is. She puts him in his place, which he needs.
Yeah.
She's not swooned over him, which he's like then somewhat swooning over her. Yeah. Because it's like, well...
a bit hard to get type of thing, yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of every typical man in the world. They don't want the woman that's there right at the front door wanting to do everything for them because that's too easy. You like a bit of a cat and mouse chase, don't you?
Yeah.
Which I don't get, but you have to try and play hard to get. And I think Kathy didn't really do that on purpose. She was just being herself and having a bit of a moment of then Don thinking he's amazing because he's in silent movies or whatever. And then you kind of see that relationship blossom throughout.
Well, there's like a sequence where Don Lockwood's having a party for the like wrapping up the show and everything. And then there's like this surprise thing where this dance troupe comes out and Kathy happens to be one of the people who comes out the cake and she's kind of like, oh my God, you're like, hey, and like, oh, it's you kind of thing. And it's a bit like awkward for her, but then she carries on dancing anyway.
She's amazing. She's so pretty as well. Like, and the way her voice... Like...
Oh yeah, she's got a very good voice. I do like Good Morning. It's obviously just jumping around a bit, but that's like one of my favourites, mainly because she's involved with the singing on that and it's quite prominent part of it as well.
Yeah,
it chirpy is. And chipper and everything, and it just works.
She's fantastic, really, and she speaks a lot nicer than Lena does as well, and she's just got a bonnier face and just a nicer. I think Lena's got a more harsh kind of...
Yeah, very stern.
I want to say a bitchy face. Am I allowed to say that?
But with that dance, with all the pink costumes and everything, and whereas all these streamers going all over the place, I don't know if you clocked when that was going on, when she's doing all that, but there was like streams getting in her hair and stuff, but she'd like doing these little like get off the thing, but then carrying on as if like it's a proper like stage performance and stuff.
No, I don't know if that was like a Charleston-y kind of thing. That's what I got from that. So like in the Charleston, you kind of just pull these funny faces. So I was wondering if it was more...
But there was definitely stuff like getting in her eyes or whatever, or in her face. So I think it was kind of like adding that to it, but like carrying on as if like this is a stage show and I've got to carry on. There's no cuts or anything, which I think is quite a common thing with the songs. Looking back at it, like there wasn't many like cuts, angles, different stuff. It was kind of just all like mostly, for the most part, one take of things. So that shows, I guess.
I feel the same with Cosmo's one where he does make them laugh.
Yeah.
And he just goes through the scene.
Yeah.
God knows how he's not got bruises all over his legs when he's falling over every 2 minutes pretending to. But I do think, actually, I did write down that they did do some clever camera angles.
Mm-hmm.
Not like extreme, like nowadays, but more like looking down, the way that they did it with the dancing, and they're all kind of like, I think it's like what you do in synchronized swimming, where they're all kind of circled round.
Yeah, I get what you mean, yeah.
So it's like kind of different concepts of not just pointing the camera straight.
Yeah, and
onwards.
not having to spin around, but following them kind of thing. Yeah,
and the way that they had the glitter backgrounds on some things, where it had like looked a little bit like where they were having glitter screens behind him.
Uh-huh.
So it's just stuff like that, like when I think that was at the end where he's having that vision of what the show.
Yeah, I think it was called Broadway Musical. Kind of like telling like this whole story about basically a guy coming to Broadway and, getting sucked into the whole glitz and the glam and everything, and sees a girl who's very pretty and then sees like, oh, she's part of this gang type of thing. Which, when I remember watching my brother ages ago, he said he called them the coin flip gang because they were doing that whole like thing with the coins, like
bless.
Thing. But I think looking back at that as well, specifically, I think that's probably why I like La La Land so much.
Because, I was thinking this
because that plays sort of like heavily inspiration from this. Obviously, this goes on quite a long. This might be like 10, 13, 15 minutes. This whole story plays out with like no words. It's kind of, for the most part, it's obviously sung in here and there, but then it's kind of just all through visually moving around and stuff. And
because I did ask you, didn't I? I was like, what is actually going on here now? I kind of thought for a while, I was thinking it was like what they were interpreting, what the vision of the show would look like.
Which is kind of what he says at the end after all that. But
then it was like, this is going on far too long for it to be an actual vision now. Is this now dipped into reality? That's where I was at. I'm like, I'm not sure, because normally a vision wouldn't be as lengthy as that. So it was like, and then 1 minute it was like going from him starting at the beginning, and then there was this woman came in with the flippy coin guy, and it were like, I'm a bit lost here, but it was brilliant visually to watch. And I think it was one of those fantastic pieces where if I rewatch it and understand now what he's trying to deliver, it won't be as confusing. Yeah. I do want to touch on, though, a scene where he is talking to Kathy, and he's obviously besotted by Kathy. He's really, really liking her, and he wants to let her know.
Yeah.
And he can't just have a certain setting where...
Yeah, as he explains,
it's just on a normal street.
Yeah.
Has to make it like a movie kind of romance. So he needs the perfect setting for a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
And I think it's lovely. So he gets the nice lighting that looks like a sunset and a bit like a pier coming on.
Yeah, exactly.
Gets the mist from like the ocean. He puts the fan on. Gets nice lighting from above. Brings in a ladder. And she stands on it. And it's like looking like the sea breeze is coming past. And all of that. And it just makes it so magical. But I love that scene because it's like you're understanding, you're seeing all the concept, what is making the actual image for us.
Exactly, yeah.
And I love the element of that because obviously I've studied photography. So in my mind, I quite like seeing where's the light coming from, where does the mist come in and the wind and stuff like that. Even though I haven't done film photography, I still like to
get the visual concept behind all that. Yeah.
So for me, I really, really appreciated that scene. And actually, for me, I know it sounds really sad, any movie could have that in. Like, I like the fact that it was a little bit messy. It had the camera lines in it. It had, like, the, cables plugging in somewhere and this big fan. And but it still had that romanticy about that scene, even though it had all of the showing you how it was done.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think some people have been like, don't really care, but I really, really appreciated that. So I really, really have a favourite character. And Cosmo is good. And at the beginning, I think he's my favourite.
Yeah.
It then goes towards Kathy.
I know you probably would.
I think she's just, her voice, the way she speaks, the way she is so pretty, but such a lovely, genuine...
Yeah, she's has some sort of tomboyish charm to her somehow as well. I don't know if that comes.
Do you think?
Yeah, obviously there's the gracefulness, but I think she's kind of like, especially with the Good Morning song, it's a bit of one of the boys kind of thing, like like boss them around a little bit. But
I think she's kind of like the friendship within them.
Yeah.
So like I know when I was at school, I had quite a few guy friends.
Mm-hmm.
I just preferred probably hanging around with them more. I think she's really content
with that. Yeah.
With that, and I think she's just so down to earth and a nice humble character. And at the end, you really want the best for Kathy. I feel you don't want her missing out on her career because of Lena being a spoiled brat. And I was getting a little bit annoyed and a bit het up about how it was going to end.
But obviously, thankfully, that's not the case. Lena gets what she deserves, really, in terms of like kind of it all. And
it was quite funny how it panned out in the end, because obviously she thought she was amazing. And there's this line which she always says is, "What do you think? I'm dumb or something?" And it's like, well, yeah, actually, you really are, because she wanted to make a speech. How do you not think, well, somebody is doing my voice, they're doing my singing. If I go and make a speech and my voice doesn't sound the same as the person on the screen, like, literally, how dumb do you have to be to think that people aren't going to notice that?
Yeah, true.
So every time she says that line, it does make me chuckle, because she is.
Yeah, she says it multiple times throughout.
Yeah. So. There's also another line I put down, which I want to refer to It's a Wonderful Life as well, which is hot dog. What does this mean?
I think it's just like an expression for being happy about something.
It just seems a strange thing to say, really, doesn't it?
Sort of that time period, though, I think, really.
Noticed I really, really enjoy the 20s kind of feel to things.
Yeah.
Or the 50s, I'm seeming to be. You would have liked The Notebook, though, because even though it's not set in that era, it's trying to capture, I think, around either 20s or 50s, I can't remember exactly.
Right, okay.
One of those eras, and it's quite well done. From what I can remember anyways, that is.
Right, okay. Well,
I feel like one of those things where I'm going to rewatch this and then hate it, but I didn't with Pretty Woman, so hopefully we'll be on the safe side.
Back to the dance numbers and stuff. The use of props and stuff is obviously very much incorporated within these sequences, which I think was probably a lot of fun for those guys to work with, to make it a bit more visually interesting.
Yeah, and straight away when you say props, obviously you've got the umbrella in the Singing in the Rain, which is the classic, iconic piece towards this. But also then in Good Morning, the coats, when they're trying to flap their arms.
And just,
so you've got that kind of bit, which looks like a bit of a Charleston-y kind of move, and the swizzle with the feet. You've also got some canes. I feel like there was more in like the imagination scene where he's got his suitcase, cane and a hat.
Like that,
And you can kind of see this era of dance within this piece as well. Coming out, an expression of Charleston being like modern dancing, so it's not just ballroom, it's a bit cheeky now, it's a bit fun. And you can kind of see that history within the film as well. Also with the iconic dancing, not dancing in the rain, singing in the rain scene. The water, like how many people have interpreted that even today, putting water on a stage and seeing the splash of your feet and the movement, and to capture that at such a early stage in a film or in a movie, I feel like that kind of is quite strongly cinematic in a sense, because they're even thinking of the music, they're thinking of the way he's dancing, the way that it's going to splash the puddles. How's that going to then look for people to see it? And obviously they're on a stage, they didn't just pick a rainy day.
No, of course not. The fact, especially at the very opening credits, you already get the sense of, it's the actors are obviously, how to explain this, because our three main people are in raincoats, and it's already on the soundstage raining and everything, and they've got that thing to somewhat introducing who are these actors playing these characters, and they're going to be part of this film, and so there's that kind of already barrier broken anyway. It's not like just the credits with some text and then you go, right, these are the characters that you've got here, because there's also that twist of like a nod to Hollywood about how things are within the industry and how things work there. Even though obviously because it is raining and it's not real rain, it doesn't matter. It's not like you would see in other films or TV series, for example, and you'd be like, oh, you can tell it's like CGI rain or something. It takes you out of it. With this, it doesn't matter so much because it's just how it was as part of the film, and it doesn't take away anything from it, even though it's...
Even though I think it's like some sprinklers or something like that, that's literally all I'm thinking of. Somebody, like that one pipe in the Singing in the Rain, where it's like constantly, I'm thinking, is somebody just like pouring a hose down it? Exactly. This is all that's going through my head, because obviously it's all staged, but it doesn't matter. The only thing is, I do have a bit of a beef. Like you say, in the opening scene, you've got Kathy, you've got Don, you've got Cosmo, all in the raincoats. And I really would have loved to see a scene where they actually do a dance. So I didn't know if she was actually in the Singing in the Rain going to come out and join him. Okay. Just from the fact that I'd seen the yellow coats and everything like that at the beginning. But obviously I was aware of the kind of classic piece, but I didn't know how it was going to end or anything like that. So there was, for my dance kind of enjoyment, I'd have liked that to go on a little bit longer. So another thing about the Singing in the Rain scene, I was sat there thinking, you know, he's just literally seen Kathy, hasn't he? He's walking away and he's happy and he's in love and he doesn't care if it's raining. It could be snowing for all he cared, and he's just so overjoyed and in that romance bubble, isn't he?
Yeah.
But you wouldn't do that, would you? You would not be singing in the rain at all because you don't like rain.
Not the biggest fan of when it's chucking it down outside. It's
God, don't you know it? You think he's going to melt or something? Like, his nose scrunches up. He, like, gets really, like... Everything about your body just gets really tense. I don't understand. It's like, it's only a bit of water. You're not going to drown.
I know, but I can only really enjoy the rain, in quotation marks, when it's in a situation where I like literally can't do anything about it. And it's like, have you ever had a situation where you've kind of like been caught in a rainstorm and you've got earphones on and you're like just listening to music and you kind of just, especially if it's like moody music or something like that, and then you just kind of just going with it really and just powering through.
Yeah, I guess, but it depends. If I'm coming home, then I'm all right. But if I've got to sit in my wet clothes all day, I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah. So
like if you're just going on a walk and you've got waterproofs on, then you're still grumpy. Then like, oh, it's raining, and it's like, well, you're not getting wet, so.
Yes, if it's heavy enough, you are, and also rain leads to mud as well. So that's
yeah, and you don't. This is another thing. He doesn't like mud either. That's from your mum, isn't it? But he wouldn't go splashing in puddles then. Did you not do that when you were little?
I don't really recall, to be honest.
I feel like he's had one of those childhoods where you don't play with things. Like, you wouldn't have played in mud. Like, I would have gone in the garden, played in mud. I'd have looked at every insect. I'd have splashed in puddles. All that kind of mucky childhood.
So, yeah, I think what you're taking meaning from this is I wouldn't be singing in the rain if I just said goodnight to you. And
no, you wouldn't have that romance feeling. The rain would overtake.
I'd be like, oh, can I come in, please, and stop.
I'd be like, over. No, go out there and go and sing in the rain. Next time that's going to happen, like literally if you come home, whenever you, obviously we're in lockdown again, but if you can come home from somewhere and it's raining, I'm going to go, right, until you start swinging off lampposts, you're not coming in the house.
Okay.
But I do think I just loved this film so much. I was smiling non-stop. It was such a good start to the year to watch and review. I don't really have a bad word about it. Even Lena, I feel like I wanted to hate her, but I couldn't because she was so funny. Like, she was such a funny, unlikable character.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it, that that's the case, but I get what you're saying. It's fun to laugh at her in this, even though she's the bad, but there's nothing really too malicious. It's kind of like why did you do that kind of thing. It
feels a little bit like a cartoon character, like when they're like...
Much. Even with a voice as well, doesn't help matters, but
And you know, she's a baddie, but she's not. She's generally kind of stupid, or dumb, should we say? And I think that's kind of where the cartoonism comes into it, because always the baddie in the cartoons are a bit dumb, and don't see anything coming. And I think that's what she's like. Mm-hmm. I feel like I do appreciate their humour in this a lot more than what you'd class as a comedy. This is my kind of humour. I don't think it's too silly or kind of, oh, that's so predictable. It's quite annoying humour, which I don't really appreciate. Whereas this was, everything was just well thought out with every concept of the film. And for the age of it, it's utterly amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just really, just a lot of fun, really, and just entertaining. And
I love it.
Why, I really enjoy watching this. So there's no gripes with, oh, why'd you pick that one? I really weirdly, secretly do enjoy this film. And I mean, do you have any other notes or things to talk about with this? Or?
Apart from me gushing over how much I love it and the dancing, that's pretty much it. Because I know this sounds really bad and I'm really sorry. I only wrote 2 pages and then I got to a point of where I was like, I just want to watch this. I'm just really enjoying myself. I just really want to absorb it all in my brain and not miss anything. So yeah, we can go.
Scott, right. So I think initially I probably would have put this at a 9. But now seeing it again, and obviously seeing La La Land fairly recently, i.e. last year around my birthday.
It's so weird saying last year. I'm still not used to that.
I have to put it at a 10 as well.
Same!
Because it's just takes so, obviously I feel like there's a lot of influence there, and it's just a blast watching it all the way through and everything. I know it sounds weird for somebody who really likes like horror films and dark dramas and stuff and dark humour, but I think secretly there's just something about this. I think the thing being, like I said before, about it, about a film, about the film industry, but there's all these other elements in it as well. The songs don't annoy me because it's that sort of like timeless, classic dancing style and music. I don't know, there's something about that era I really like, and the humour is just fantastic. The music is fantastic, and just how they all act and everything is up there, and I can't really think of anything to slag off about it, really. So
no, I 100% agree with you. I am scoring it a 10 as well. Obviously, I'm biased because there's dancing in it, so anything that's got dancing in it is quite high up there for me. I really enjoy it. That's why I put Paul through Dirty Dancing, and think actually now watching that back, the best bit about Dirty Dancing is the dancing. Thanks for that, Paul. But this is a classic. It's got your lovable characters. It's just nice the whole way through. It's so fluffy, but not in a sickly way. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
And it's a timeless piece because I didn't care how old it was. It didn't feel old when watching it either. Like, it was just like this frozen piece of classicness.
Yeah.
Paused in perfect time, and it was fantastic to watch, and especially to have his first 2021 episode, and we both give it a 10.
Starting off solid.
Yeah, I would definitely watch it again. I'd watch it tomorrow. Like, literally, that's like how eager I would be, because I feel like I would get something else out of it. You definitely would, something else that I hadn't seen, because there is so much crammed going on in like the dance scenes, to visuals, to other bits behind the scenes which I won't have even twigged on. And I think I just have a bit more gratitude towards filmmaking back then.
Yeah, the craft of it all.
Yeah, because I know when I studied photography, I was the girl who would be in the dark room, not talking to anybody. That would be my kind of thing. Like, everybody else had digital cameras, and I had a really, really crap digital camera. But I had a knockout film camera that was better than my digital.
Yeah.
I constantly
preferred the old methods to the new methods, because anybody can do the new methods.
And I loved the old methods. I would process my own film. So that, for me, understanding the concept behind the fact that this is on a big film reel, and it's the same as a negative kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it getting developed, and what you have to do to keep that up to scratch. And as well, then you explaining about the vinyl process
to record the audio and all those kind of elements they have to put together.
And it's still been so brilliant of a film. Like, it's films we watch today, which people have the easy, well, for example, Borat, anything with Adam Sandler in, who have got the easy tools of just editing it out, and they don't edit the crap out. And it's like, whereas this film had no fodder filler, it was just perfect.
Yeah, long takes, which shows how, it was seamless and effortless they make it look as well. The fact that it didn't have to keep doing like cut that there to cover the fact that that stumble or something, or change to this angle, like cut here, all that kind of stuff. So it shows how well trained they are in the craft that they do. It's amazing.
It's fantastic. So I hope you all enjoyed listening to us again. We will be vamping it up a little bit, won't we? Where we're dropping in some that we've both seen and some that you haven't seen. A little bit more, I feel, in 2021.
Yeah, that's more your department of finding things that I haven't seen that are,
Pretty much, it's either me and you haven't seen it, or you've seen it and I haven't seen it, like, because you bought it.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm really bad and I don't really invest my money in that, do I? That's
not a bad thing that you don't do that. It's just...
Well, we don't have enough space if I started. We need a bigger house.
But there's so much up there that we both haven't seen, and there's a lot of things that I'd love to so much to catch up on, really, in terms of films that have come out, even like from the past year and stuff, and a couple of years ago.
Did movies come out last year? Did it actually happen? Nothing happened last year, did it?
That's what some people say, yeah.
I think 2020 is a learning curve, and I think it's one of those things. Now we're in a new year, we can reflect back on what the year was. Some people have said it was a good year because it made them have reflection, it made them have that time where we're so busy normally, running around, doing everything, and you can't be that busy, which can drive some people insane, but it can give some people a little bit more downtime. So I think here's for a better year. Maybe the cinemas might eventually open.
I do hope so, for people's sake, even for people to have their jobs back, really.
Yeah, because we've been quite lucky with our kind of lines of work, but I think that uncertainty for a lot of people, that needs to kind of definitely come into place, because it'll be a year soon in March. So hopefully you've enjoyed this episode.
Yes, thank you very much for listening, and if you'd like to listen to all the episodes we recorded in 2020, you can go and find them on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, or wherever else you might get your podcasts from.
Yeah, and we've also got our Instagram and Facebook. Definitely check his Instagram out, because Paul, bless him, does a lot of work on there. So it's a handle of SP_film viewers. So definitely go check that out. And Paul is really, really good on there. I do have access, so you might see some weird content coming out of me posting some stuff, not anything bad.
Yeah,
but just not your normal stuff that you're seeing on there. That there might be some quirky stuff, yeah.
Yeah, funny stories or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So, and if there's spelling mistakes, that'll be me, not Paul. So we might get Paul to vet them. But yeah, I think if you want to leave us a message, a comment, give us anything to say that you want to hear about, what you want us to review, anything like that.
Yeah, it's very much appreciated.
We will always reply, so we're not ignorant. We do like to have that communication with you also. Anything is muchly appreciated.
And if, of course, you would also kindly give us a 5-star review on iTunes. I think that's probably the only place where you can sort of leave reviews of our episodes, annoyingly, but that's how it is. So if you go find us on there, SP Film Viewers, like we said. Also, if you want to help support us, you can buy some of our lovely merch we have on our TeePublic website.
I think I want a notepad with my SP Film Viewer. So obviously
logo on.
Yeah, I want my logo on it, and I want to write my notes, because I'm nearly enough running out of this book.
Yeah.
And I feel like, well, we've got the merchandise, and why we're not having this book. So I feel like we'll take some pictures. Is there a pen? I feel like this should be. Because I love a good stationery. I'm like, any stationery, I'm your girl. Also, there's something else, if you would kindly like to be even really, really generous, and I know this is pushing it for 2021, I know there's a lot going on and people have got all other stuff to be worrying about. We've actually been nominated for something, haven't we?
Yes, we've been nominated for Podcasts for Business Awards 2021. Now, when this episode comes out, it'll be a couple of days before the voting closes on this. I know I've already posted to people out already about the voting, so thank you already for those people who have. But all you need to do is follow the link in the description of this episode, go to the website, and just fill in, it'll take a couple of minutes, not even that, just your name and address, and then just vote for SP Film Viewers, or capitals, there's just a space between SP, and then that will help us hopefully get in the voting ranks, and maybe, who knows what will happen.
Yeah, no, we don't know yet, but I'm just pleased that we're nominated.
Yeah, I can't believe that as well. That was sort of on a whim just doing that, but I'm
grateful.
Very, very happy that.
So even if we don't win, it's just a fact of being participating. And I feel like if I have a child, I will definitely be telling them that. So I'm just dead chuffed. But if you do want to vote for us and you think we're good enough, then please head over and have a look at that. I think it was in one of Paul's, our, should we say, stories on the SP. I don't know if we have posted it as a feed as well. We might have to do that.
Possibly, yeah, just a reminder for other people. I know it's a bit daft with how Instagram doesn't allow you links that you can follow. I don't know why that is, but anyway, I'll still post it there regardless, and you just have to type it out manually. I know it's a struggle for people these days.
Unless
people
we
just
put
like
it in
links.
Our bio bit.
Yeah.
You can do that. That's
yeah,
what people do. Yeah.
I'll leave the link in the link tree bio on our page where you can find all our means of contacting us and whatever, so that's probably the best option to do. So
I hope you've had a wonderful start to 2021, and if you haven't, then don't worry, it's only the beginning of the year. It can only get better. So I hope you've enjoyed listening to us, and we'll speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time. Take care now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.